about 20-30 minutes outside of Comox, about to come into Comox here, and there's a series of coal fields all up and down the island. Comox coalfield, Port Alberni coalfield, Lanceville coalfield. Vancouver Island's very well known for its coal and had some of the better coal around. So all the stern wheeler captains and train guys, they all wanted the Nanaimo coal and the Vancouver Island coal because it was always the best type. There's lignite coal, bituminous coal, and anthracitic coal. There used to be all these causeways going out, like docks, like finger docks basically, causeway, whatever you want to call it, going out, and they would load the coal onto ships there, right, in Union Bay, which is where we are now. That's Union Bay there, doing some fishing over there. I think it's oyster farming. I've seen a lot of oyster farms. So I think they're harvesting oysters out there. So we're in Cumberland. Big coal mining town, Cumberland. Very intense place. A lot of crazy history here. In the later part of the 19th century, the village of Cumberland was a thriving metropolis, neatly divided into separate town sites for whites, Chinese, Japanese, and blacks that worked the coal mines. By 1914, Chinatown was home to more than 100 businesses and one of the largest Chinese settlements in BC. They were not treated very well, guys. They're exploited by Robert Dunsmuir, who was less than stellar example of a human. Exploited a lot of people. Lots of guys, killed a lot of guys. Their lack of safety in his mines. And he caused a lot of problems for a lot of people. But you can see groceries, dry goods, Chowley, CNL. You got the writing, right? These are all the old buildings. They preserved Canadian Colliery's office. So all these guys were working in the mines. They've been working in a coal mine. It's very dangerous. We're about to find that out, how dangerous it actually is. So we got some work carts and moving devices here. Check it out and let's go in the museum and see what we can see. Alrighty, so here we are, guys. Cumberland Museum. Crosscut saw there. Fell trees back in the day for the lumber mill. That's how they used to do it. Or chainsaws. Railway stove. Wellington Colliery passenger train, which connected Union Bay to Cumberland and the Bevan town sites. Stop and Courtney added. Union Bay was where they shipped all the coal out from Cumberland. That's a railway lantern. The brakeman used this lamp to communicate with the conductor, signaling when the train was to stop, reverse, or proceed. Before modern braking systems, the brakemen were responsible for climbing atop each car, manually applying the brakes. So they would literally climb on the cars. 6 sailing ships at the coal dock in Union Bay. So you can see, right, those little causeways, and then they got the piers going out. The first shipment of Cumberland coal departed Union Bay port on the San Mateo steamship in 1889. By 1890, the E&N rail coach car was brought up from Nanaimo to serve the increasing passenger traffic. Lots of logging in Vancouver Island, too. Number 5 crew, 1912, a record day. Through blood, sweat, and tears, the number 5 mine crew worked together to extract 524 tons of coal in 8 hours. Good job, guys. What a hard job, man. Brutal. Absolutely brutal working in the coal mines. Leather mining belt, self-rescue kit. Worn on their belts, self-rescue kits are emergency air filters that allowed miners about 1 hour to escape a disaster. Oh yeah, air filters so they could get out. The after damp, as they called it, that was what would kill guys in the mines, the contaminated air. Believe it or not, these boots are clean. Before washhouses were installed, number 8 and number 5 mines in 1938, miners arrived from home, work covered in coal dust. Not good. It's like guys cutting Creo pile, coming home covered in Creo. You need to be careful. Caulked logging boots. In the rainy Pacific West Coast forests, loggers have relied on caulked boots for over 100 years. Edison gramophone. Miners' 10 Commandments. Cumberland Hotel. Bar the Vendome Hotel, the Bucket of Blood. 1911. Kevin. How you doing, bud? Number one mine in Cumberland had the narrowest coal seam at less than half a meter, 18 inches. Japanese miners working at number one would kick coal out behind them since the space was too small to use the coal cart. In some mines, the ceilings were so low that mules would pick their way up between the train tracks to avoid scraping their heads on the ceiling, pulling 4 carts weighing up to 900 pounds each. That's insanity, man. So these are the heights of the mine. This is 6 feet. This is number one mine height. That's one foot there. A little bit over 1 foot, like 16 inches, basically 18 inches. That's insanity, man. That's insane. Who were the miners? Okay, so they paid $2 a day for Great Britain and European, and then $1 a day for Chinese and Japanese. The minimum legal age to work underground was 16, but in the days before workers' rights or pensions, family need sometimes meant boys as young as 12 or 13 were employed. Children earned as little as $1 per day above ground or $1.25 underground. Older miners with injuries ended up working their lives above ground at the picking tables, earning as little as $1 per day. Miners had to be careful not to cause fire or explosion as they navigated the pitch black, gassy mines. What? This sounds like hell, man. Hell on earth. Fish oil lamps attracted rats who dipped their tails in the oil and licked it off. Safety lamps were used to detect dangerous levels of combustible gases. That's the fish oil lamp. The rats, that's crazy, man. Dynamite was used by the miners to blast coal seams loose from the rock face, allowing access to new coal seams. However, blasting was dangerous work. One wrong move could cause a cave-in, release gases that could cause a deadly explosion. The blasting box there. Dynamite. Fuse. Crazy, man. And you'd see they got it all shored up here. It sounds like it was hell, though, man. Post-drill, miners used these hand crank tools to drill the rock faces and dislodge the coal. Drilling was dangerous as it could release explosive gases that only required a spark to ignite, because coal has a lot of gases associated with mining it. And then you got the ore cart. Mule helmet. Before industrialization, mules were used to haul coal carts from the mines. Helmets protected the animals from the low ceilings and falling debris. Mining companies did not always treat mules kindly. They were reportedly chosen to pull the carts due to their inability to work beyond the point of exhaustion. That's the mule mask. Working conditions varied from mine to mine. Some were waterlogged, some had high gas levels. Safety rules were put in place, but mine managers were made aware of inspections in advance to ensure that any ongoing issues could be temporarily brought up to code. That's what I was saying with Dunsmuir there. If a mine had to be evacuated for a gas leak, flood, cave-in, or fire, mules were brought up first as they were considered the most valuable, followed by the white miners, and finally the Chinese and Japanese Canadian workers. Companies did not compensate miners or their families for work-related injuries or deaths. That's brutal, man. What mine lantern? If the flame in your Davis safety lamp changed from yellow to blue, it meant high levels of gas, and that an open flame or a small spark could cause a deadly explosion. That's the Davis safety lamp, letting you know. Canary in a coal mine. Yep, everybody's heard of the canary, right? To detect dangerous gases. When the birds stopped stinging, the miners knew to get out. It's intense, man. What an intense place. Explosions occurred. Trained teams of rescuers called dragermen would enter the dark, gassy mines equipped with heavy breathing apparatuses on their backs in hopes that they could navigate the flooding and fires below to get the workers alive. It's brutal, man. Brutal. This is like absolutely brutal what these guys went through. Like, mining gold and stuff is brutal and other war, but this is like, it takes to a whole nother level. And the phones there, you can hear the mine conversations, what it was like for these guys living and working in this. This is brutal, man. Full coal carts from the depths of the mines be sorted at the surface. Death on the job. Cumberland mines were gassy, dangerous places to work, and deadly explosions were common. In 1910, coal miners in BC were 4 times more likely to die on the job than anywhere else in the world. Approximately 320 men died in Cumberland mines, and many more were injured and unable to continue working, bringing extreme financial hardship to their families. The church and school bells would toll for the mine disasters, and residents to this day speak of the dread they feel when hearing the bells. What a brutal brutal place, man. Cumberland mine fatalities, guys. This is important. These guys never got their respect back in the day, so I'm gonna give it to them now. Just guys trying to feed their families. Canteen and a lunch bucket. Coal was one of Vancouver Island's first staple resource trades. The first coal claims in Cumberland, then known as Union, were developed by Union Coal Company in 1869. After making a fortune in the Wellington coal seams further south, Scottish coal baron Robert Dunsmuir purchased the failing Union Coal Company, changing the name to the Wellington Colliery Company in 1902. By 1891, 300 to 400 workers were employed in the mines of Union. In 1898, Union was incorporated as a city with the new name, Cumberland. The replica mine was built in 86 by local coal miners using 5 tons of coal. It is loosely modeled after the Sable mine, but with a higher seam allowing visitors to stand rather than crawl. And this would be the coal seam right here. So it's actually bigger. They made it bigger for us so we don't have to crawl, but absolutely insane, man. Insanity. Not scheduled for work today. Leg severed by coal cart, bled out, killed in a stall by a fall of rock. Entire shift died in gas explosion. Survived your shift for another day. Older and deeper in debt. Sounds absolutely horrible. Probably the most important section of any museum or any job. Workers' rights. Oh yeah, the strike. On September 16th, 1912, local coal miners declared a holiday to protest the safety issues in the mines, lack of union recognition. In response, Canadian collieries Dunsmuir Limited locked workers out and evicted them from their company housing, forcing them to live in shacks and tents on the shores of Comox Lake and Strikers Beach at Royston. By spring 1913, 3,500 miners on Vancouver Island had joined the big strike. Japanese and Chinese workers were threatened with deportation if they did not sign work contracts, and overseas workers were hired, sometimes not knowing they would be strikebreakers. By summer 1914, strike pay was exhausted. Paired with the outbreak in the First World War, workers were forced to sign a 2-year contract with no gains or concessions. It's really important. Whatever your opinion on unions might be, without them, we wouldn't have any of this, guys. Oh man, that was brutal. We just finished up that museum, and I can't believe the discrimination, racism, working conditions, everything. This is brutal. To get the donkeys out first, and then everybody else, and then the men, Anyways, guys, you ever interested what it was like to work in a coal mine and get an idea of how bad it was? So yeah, guys, that's gonna be it. Like and subscribe to the channel, and make sure you come out and check it out. Sasquatch out.